Hello and welcome to Select 10. In this video, we will highlight the top 10 best new movies that cover multiple genres such as action, sci-fi, horror, comedy, and thriller. These are the newest Hollywood films that have been released to stream on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney+, Apple TV, and other platforms during the last 2 months. And if you're searching for something new to watch, you should add these to your watch list, as some of them are extremely entertaining. Now let's start the video. Number 10. Expendables 4. It is a 2023 action film, and it is the fourth entry in the Expendables film series, following The Expendables 3, 2014. Before you ask why I'm recommending a film with a rating of less than 5 stars, hear me out. If you are an action movie fan, it is unlikely that you have missed the previous installment in this series. This one was most anticipated by his loyal fan base, and this recommendation is strictly for this franchise and action film fans. Despite having an excellent cast, the film is a major letdown and the weakest installment in the series. It completely fails to utilize his character properly. The only saving grace is Jason and a few well-executed action moments. Stallone's screen time in this one is limited, which is surprisingly disappointing. It's like a Spider-Man flick where Spider-Man only appears for a few minutes. The narrative follows Ross and his group as they embark on an assignment to face a weapons dealer with the intention of starting an international conflict. However, an unexpected accident separates the team, with Christmas left out, while the new crew searches for the man who targeted the team. However, when the team gets caught, Christmas is forced to jump to their rescue. Most of the film takes place on a ship, and the conclusion has a twist that is evident from far away. So consider this if you are a fan of the franchise and want to see how it ends. Number 9. Five Nights at Freddy's. It is a 2023 supernatural horror film based on the survival horror video games series of the same name, created by Scott Cawthon. We will discuss this movie from the viewpoint of a moviegoer rather than a gamer, because not everyone may be aware of this game. The plot revolves around Mike Schmidt, a new nighttime guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a neighborhood dining establishment. In the course of his first evening on duty, he soon learns about the events that occurred at Freddy's and is horrified by what he discovers about the robotic costumes. The narrative progresses as he enlists the assistance of Vanessa, an area cop, while the nights he spent at Freddy's cause him to have strange experiences and drag him into an unimaginable scenario. Apart from the usual scary aspect, the movie is filled with nostalgia, and you may feel that even if you haven't played the games. The film's flaw is that it tries to fit too much into its main plot and falls short of capturing the sinister feel of the video game, making it seem overstuffed and disinterested. Overall, if you are in the mood to see a decent horror film, it can be an entertaining watch. Number 8. Pain Hustlers. It is a 2023 crime drama film directed by David Yates. The story revolves around Liza, a struggling single mom who finds employment in a collapsing drug manufacturing firm. Meanwhile, this position sets her all on the path to financial success, but also raises moral concerns as she gets involved in a risky criminal conspiracy. But as she manages her increasingly insane boss, her daughter's deteriorating health, and her evolving realization of the organizations, Liza is pushed to consider her options. The narrative tries to fuse an insightful criticism of the drug business with aspects of a crime drama, but its murky style renders its point of view meaningless. The standout performance in the film is Emily Blunt's portrayal of Liza, who represents the misery of people caught in a flawed financial system. Given how skilled he is at playing dark characters, Chris Evans' character is completely wasted. In short, Pain Hustlers offers a perceptive and analytical look at the actions taken out of misery and desire. Number 7. Totally Killer. It is a 2023 dark comedy slasher film directed by Nahnatchka Khan. The plot centers on Jamie, who, following her mother's killing by an identical attacker who embarked on a murderous rampage years prior, goes all the way back in time to 1987 with the goal of apprehending the killer before his initial rampage and escaping being eternally imprisoned in the past. All of this starts in the present time on the night of Halloween, when the murderer shows up again looking for another target, while Jamie finds herself forced to flee for her own life after an unforeseen encounter with him that mistakenly sends her back in time to the year of the initial murders. While attempting to navigate the world of the 1980s, Jamie partners up with her teen mother to track down the serial killer and prevent him before he begins. Overall, the story is an entertaining and captivating horror comedy that combines time travel and slasher fear, even though the suspense concerning the killer's identity struggles at points. But it skillfully strikes a balance between mystery and horror entertainment that makes it interesting to watch. Number 6. Desperation Road. It is a 2023 action thriller film directed by Nadine Crocker. The narrative takes place in a little Mississippi town and follows two main characters, Russell and Mabon. Russell is a strange man with secrets who recently got released from prison and is forced to start a fresh life, while Mabon is a single mom who finds herself running for her own safety as a result of past mistakes. However, an unexpected event causes Mabon and Russell's paths to come together, and from that point on, the story revolves around them as they fight desperately for their right to be free, while the police investigate a strange incident. If you're wondering who could be involved in that incident, it's a plot turning point that I'll leave you to discover. While Mel Gibson doesn't have much screen time, his moments provide the narrative with additional weight. The film is a good action thriller with a strong emotional core that revolves around the themes of justice, redemption, and retribution. Even though the film overdoes its uplifting conclusion, it still has excellent storytelling and well-developed characterizations. Number 5. If You Were the Last. It is a 2023 science fiction romantic film directed by Christian Mercado. The plot revolves around Adam and Jane, who are over 3 years into a scientific trip that ended up going utterly wrong. Their spacecraft has been broken and is floating beyond Jupiter and Saturn. Convinced of their future, they look for methods to take advantage of time because they believe that no one will come to their rescue. But when Adam suggests that perhaps they should sleep together, things start to get weirder, and what begins a flirtatious conversation makes them think about the possibility of whether they should live out their final days as companions or anything more. Instead of focusing on a science fiction element, the movie examines closeness, intimate relationships, and love in an unusual environment. The film's visual style adds to its attractiveness and allows the audience to concentrate on the two main characters' emerging affection. The film is weird yet sufficiently intriguing that it works. It also contains a few secondary instances that are pretty humorous, and its periodic moments of dark comedy make it worthwhile to see. Number 4. A Haunting in Venice. It is a 2023 murder mystery film directed by Kenneth Branagh. It is a follow-up to the 2022 movie Death on the Nile and continues Detective Hercule's new case. This time, the action takes place in Venice on the night of Halloween Eve, where the viewer is introduced to a brand new, terrifying mystery involving Hercule, who is retired at the moment and was leading a quiet existence until he goes to a party where one of the guests was murdered, and he is drawn into a dark world of darkness in order to find the person responsible. Instead of overloading viewers with backstories, the film this time focuses on maintaining a mystery and lives up to its classic pattern. Like the last movie, it's a suspenseful, analytical, and fulfilling mystery that has a fair amount of entertaining moments, but the crawling pacing and lengthy screenplay make you tired because there is too much discussion involving the characters. All things considered, it's a fantastically strange, chaotic, entertaining sequel with some great sequences of suspense and terror, enhanced by interesting characters. Number 3. Ballerina. It is an action thriller film directed by Lee Chung-hyun. The narrative centers on Jang Ok-ju, an old VIP bodyguard who learns of the death of her closest friend, Min-hee, who was killed by Choi, a gangster who was mistreating Min-hee and demanding money. All of mayhem starts with Min-hee's last wish for Ok-ju to kill Choi. Following the incident, Ok-ju makes every effort to track down Choi in order to exact revenge, but when Choi's army of assassins stands in her way, her journey to get to him becomes much more difficult. It's a classic tale of vigilante justice, full of suspense and vicious action. Ballerina is the type of film that is intended to impress the audience with its action rather than the story. Even if the storyline doesn't pique your attention, you will still be amazed by how beautifully each action scene is created. Overall, Ballerina reaches its highest point during the film's action-packed climax sequence, which is unquestionably the best sequence. It's a must-see for fans of action movies. Number 2. Saw 10. It is a 2023 horror film directed by Kevin Brutert. The film is the 10th chapter in the Saw film series, and it takes place between the incidents of Saw 1 and 2. Along with a few new characters, Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith reprise their parts from the previous movies. The story centers on John, who goes to Mexico in the expectation of receiving a cancer cure through a newly developed method. However, he later learns that the surgery is a lie aimed at misleading the most fragile. With a renewed sense of purpose, John goes back to work, captures the people involved in this operation, and puts them up against his killing traps. Saw 10 isn't merely a straightforward horror riddle like the other movies, rather, it's a vengeance story that pays tribute to the franchise's basic concepts, while also adding an unexpected amount of emotion, something the series isn't usually known for. However, what sets Saw apart is that, even though it's the 10th installment, the movie feels fresh and still manages to provide a nail-biting suspense story. Number 1. The Burial. It is a legal drama film, directed by Maggie Betts. The story is based on the real-life experiences of attorney Willie E. Gary and his case of Jeremiah Joseph O'Keefe, who sued the Lowen Funeral Company. The plot centers on funeral home manager Jeremiah O'Keefe, who plans to auction the Lowen Group a share of his company, but the deal falls through, and Jeremiah must turn to lawyer Willie E. Gary to rescue his family's business. However, emotions boil, hilarity breaks out as an unanticipated duo bonds, and they try to expose business misconduct. The narrative offers a strong courtroom drama with artistic brilliance and humorous undertones. Jamie Foxx, as Gray, is the driving force, but The Burial is far from flawless and has many shortcomings. The film falls prey to its high expectations that go above the storyline, but all things considered, the story is a strong and engrossing one that manages to make an impression that stays. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.